Lesson 2760. Seventh word.
Euzu billahi mineşşeytanirracim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed Satan. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful.
Yes, today we will read the seventh word, inshallah. Inshallah, it will be a means for benefiting. Seventh word. If you want to understand what precious two difficulty-solving talismans, the words Amentu billahi ve bil yevmil ahiri, I believe in Allah and the last day, are, which open the obscure talisman of this universe and conquer the gate of happiness for the human spirit, and what beneficial and antidote-like two medicines, patience with trust and refuge in one's Creator, and supplication and prayer to one's provider with gratitude are, and how important, valuable and brilliant a ticket, a provision for the hereafter, a light for the grave, it is to listen to the Qur'an, to submit to its judgment, to perform the prayer, namaz, and to abandon major sins, kibir, on the journey to eternity, ebedul abad. Then look at this allegorical short story. Listen. Yes, let's take it from the beginning. Which opened the obscure talisman of this universe. So there is a talisman in this universe. What is the universe? What duty does it perform? Why has it come into existence? Right? What is the purpose of its creation? All these questions, where do they come from? Where is it going? What is it? It has occupied the entire mind of humanity, but they have not found an answer, right? Why does such a universe exist? What is its meaning? All of these are opened by what? Amantu billahi wa bil yevmil ahiri. With the level of belief in Allah and with believing in the existence of the hereafter, the secrets, the talismans of this universe are opened, right? We already know this. What is this whole universe? Why does it exist? Why is it so beautiful? Why is it renewed? What meaning does it express? You can find the answer to all of this if you know Allah. Because the one who makes and creates these is Janaba Haq, the righteously praiseworthy God. Also, belief in Allah and belief in the hereafter at the same time conquer the gate of happiness for the human spirit. The gate of happiness is opened only with what? With belief in Allah, with belief in the hereafter. What two difficulty-solving talismans they are. Of course, believing in Allah and believing in the hereafter are themselves talismans, right? As those talismans are opened, the talisman of the universe and the gate of happiness will open accordingly, and with patience, trust, and refuge in one's Creator, with patience, trust, and refuge in one's Creator, and with gratitude, supplication, and prayer to one's Provider, trust and refuge, with patience, trust, and refuge in one's Creator, to be patient in a time of trouble, a time of calamity, to trust in Janaba Haq, to take refuge when there is a need, and then when a blessing appears, supplication and prayer to one's Provider with gratitude. How beneficial and antidote-like, useful, advantageous, healing instantly. Antidote means a medicine that has an instant effect. What two beneficial and antidote-like medicines they are, and to listen to the Qur'an, to submit to its judgment, to perform the prayer, to abandon major sins, to listen to the Qur'an, then to submit to the judgments, the commands in the Qur'an, that is, to enter under its command, under its order, meaning to apply it, then of course first and foremost to perform the prayer to abandon the great sins. On the journey to eternity, ebedul abad, that is until the grave, from after the grave until the place of gathering,
mahshar, from the place of gathering until the bridge of Sirat to paradise. To paradise, that is, if you want to be comfortable on that journey. If you want those journeys to proceed in a beautiful, trouble-free way, what is the solution for this? To listen to the Qur'an, to submit to its judgment, to perform the prayer, to abandon major sins. If you want to understand how important, valuable, and brilliant a ticket, a provision for the hereafter, a light for the grave it is on the journey to eternity, Abdul Abad, then look at this allegorical short story. Listen. Yes, a very beautiful allegory. It expresses the situation of man in this world very beautifully. Let's see, inshallah. Look at this allegorical short story. Listen. Once a soldier in the field of war and trial, in the fluctuation of profit and loss, falls into a very dreadful situation. It is as follows. Once a soldier in the field of war and trial, the battlefield. On the battlefield, of course, what is there? There is an enemy attack. You can die at any moment. If you are hit by the enemy's bullet, bomb, it is a matter of life and death. There is death at every moment. In the field of war and trial, in the fluctuation of profit and loss, falls into a very dreadful situation. It is as follows. Aren't we in the same situation right now? That is, we are in a great trial of winning or not winning eternal life, winning or losing paradise. For example, how is the greatness of a trial understood? It is understood by the greatness of what you will win or lose. How great a thing it is to win or lose a reward like paradise. Then the trial also becomes very great. Once a soldier in the field of war and in the fluctuation of profit and loss falls into a very dreadful situation. It is as follows. He is wounded on his right and left sides with 2 terribly deep wounds. So there is a soldier on the battlefield. Now he has received these blows. A wound has opened, but it is terrible. I mean, think of it like a knife wound, a sword wound. His 2 sides are torn apart. He is wounded on his right and left sides with 2 terribly deep wounds. And behind him a huge lion stands as if waiting to attack him. What is behind him? A huge, that is, a large lion has taken an attack position. And behind him, a huge lion stands as if waiting to attack him. And before his eyes, a gallows has been erected, and it is hanging and annihilating all his loved ones. He sees his loved ones dying one by one. In front, the man is in such agony, and behind, the lion is waiting for his turn. And along with this state, he has a long journey ahead of him. He is being exiled. If you say, let's stop here, they don't let you stop. You continue. And in the places you will go, there are many dangerous, adventurous things. And along with this state, he has a long journey ahead of him. He is being exiled, while that poor man is thinking despairingly in this terror. When you compare the speed of your feet and its speed, the lion will definitely catch you. And when it catches you, it's clear what it will do. You say, I can't escape it. His wounds are so open that their treatment is impossible. From them, loss of blood and so on. You can't save those on the gallows either. You can't command your journeys for yourself. You are in a state of despair, completely hopeless. While that poor man is thinking despairingly in this terror, a benevolent, luminous person like Khidr appears on his right side. Right at that moment, on his right side, like Khidr. You know how they say he arrived like Khidr. Khidr, peace be upon him, came like that. A benevolent, righteous, luminous person appears. He says to him, Do not despair, meaning there are remedies to save you from that situation. Do not despair. I will give you 2 talismans and teach them to you. If you use them well, that lion will become a subservient horse for you. You saw it as a lion. It was going to treat you like a lion. But if you learn those 2 talismans, that lion will now become a horse for you. If you use them well, that lion will become a subservient, that is, an obedient horse for you. And that gallows will turn into a pleasant swing for you for enjoyment and recreation. For example, on a swing, as you swing, your view, your perspective changes, right? The scenes are always changing. By swinging there, that too will turn into a pleasant swing for you for enjoyment and recreation. And I will give you 2 medicines. If you use them well, those 2 festering wounds of yours, if you use those medicines well, those 2 festering wounds of yours, the wound of helplessness, the wound of poverty, will transform into 2 fragrant, delicate flowers called the Rose of Muhammad. Peace and blessings be upon him. Helplessness leads you to Allah's power. Poverty leads you to Allah's mercy, right? They will transform into 2 fragrant, delicate flowers called the Rose of Muhammad. Peace and blessings be upon him. And I will give you a ticket. With it, you will cover a year's journey in 1 day as if flying. And if you do not believe, test it a little so that you may understand that it is true. This part is very meaningful. That is, it shows that the medicine of faith, the medicine of patience, the thing of trust in Senaba Haq, shows its effect the moment you use it, right? If you do not believe, test it a little so that you may understand that it is true. Indeed, he tested it a little. He confirmed that it was true. That is, faith, Qur'an, and then righteous deeds will already be a means to great happiness for us in the hereafter, in paradise. He is in no position to do this anyway. The main thing is to see the effect of this faith's trust in Allah, of taking refuge in this world, right? Its beautiful results. Indeed, he tested it a little and confirmed that it was true. Yes. That is this poor Saeed, also confirmed this, because I have tested it a little. I saw it to be very true. After this, he suddenly saw that from his left side, a devil-like, deceitful, debauched, deceptive man came with many adornments, ornate images, fantasies, and intoxicants. Devil-like, deceitful. What was Desa's? That is, he gives deceptions, whispers to deceive. Deceitful, that is, he doesn't present the truth, but something that veils the truth far from the truth. Inquisitive deceptions, lies. Debauched. For example, the environment a person is in. For instance, when a debauched person is drunk, he rolls in the mud. He doesn't realize it is mud. That is, he smears it on his eyes as if it were musk. That is, when a person is materially drunk, he does not realize the environment he is in. When he is spiritually drunk, he cannot think that there is a lion behind him, the lion of death, that there is the gallows of the grave in front of him, that he is a guest in this world, that he will leave here one day. That is called spiritual drunkenness. That is, in fact, a materially drunk person might drink in the evening and sober up in the morning. But the other kind of drunk does not sober up easily. That is, only with calamities or with the guidance of Janaba Haq, or if the man takes refuge in some way and the lights of guidance come, he is saved from that spiritual drunkenness. And a deceptive man. The things of Satan are built on deception. For example, there is death, you must not forget this. He makes you forget. He says, never mind, For example, that is for the sake of deception. A deceptive man came with many adornments, ornate images, fantasies, and intoxicants. Look, always with adornments, ornate images, things that appeal to the eye, to the ear, to the nose, with things that appeal to the 5 external senses of man. He narrows the field of action of the mind and heart. That is, the spirit, for example, needs to look at the truth, at Senabahak, with the mind and heart and take a position accordingly. With these material things, by turning towards material things with these 5 organs, and turning the direction of the mind and heart away from the truth and turning the spirit towards things, it's already over. That is, a person should not be deceived here. Many adornments, ornate images, fantasies, intoxicants, drinks came with him. He stood before him. He said to him, "Hey friend, come, let's drink and have fun together. Let's look at these beautiful girl-like images. Let's listen to these pleasant songs. Let's eat these sweet foods." Right? Look, to the eye, then song to the ear, and the foods appeal to the faculty of taste, to the tongue. That is, he is trying to make him focus on things, right? But the angel of death awaits him. What will happen to him in the near future? Whether you die tomorrow or in a year, what difference does it make after you die? That is, if you're not taking precaution for death, whether you die tomorrow, are you a traitor? It makes no difference. Therefore, this issue needs to be resolved first. Question. What is that you are secretly reading in your mouth? Answer. A talisman. Leave this incomprehensible business. Let's not spoil our present enjoyment. Yes, what does he do here? What is that you are secretly reading in your mouth? Leave it, a talisman. Leave this incomprehensible business. Let's not spoil our present enjoyment. Yes. They try to present religion as something incomprehensible, right? Whereas there is nothing incomprehensible. Allah created this universe. He also created us. He introduces himself, makes himself loved with these beautiful blessings. We will know and love him. We will worship. We will live according to his commands. Then he will remove this world and establish the hereafter. Then there, forever, the event is this simple. I mean, is there anything incomprehensible to me? But he presents it in that way. Leave this incomprehensible business. Let's not spoil our present enjoyment. In reality, is there such a thing as present enjoyment? Now, if there were a lion behind us, imaginarily behind us, and a tray of baklava in front of you, what would you do? Could you eat that baklava? You can't eat with a lion behind you. When you're covered in wounds and injuries, can you say, "Let's not spoil our enjoyment"? Look what he does. He tries to distance man from the realities he is in. Leave this incomprehensible business. Let's not spoil our present enjoyment. Question. What are those in your hands? Answer, a medicine. Throw it away. You are healthy. What's wrong with you? It's time for applause. Question. What is that paper with 5 seals? Answer. A ticket, a ration document. Tear them up. In this beautiful spring season, what need have we of a journey? He says. In this beautiful spring season, look how beautifully we are living. The world is beautiful. The weather is beautiful. The water is beautiful, right? Forget death. What is death to us? You forget death, but does death forget you? Look, you work in a hospital now, right? Do you want those who come with wounds of helplessness and poverty, or do you want those who have passed away? That is, this reality does not change. In this beautiful spring season, every day, every second, 4 people come into the world, 2 people leave. 300,000, 500,000 people leave this world every day, right? There is no meaning in such a deceitful word. In this beautiful spring season, what need have we of a journey? He says. He tries to persuade him with every deception. He tries to persuade him with every deception, so much so that the poor man inclines towards him a little. Yes, man is deceived. I too was deceived by such a deception. Yes. Suddenly from his right side a voice like thunder comes. Suddenly from his right side a voice like thunder comes. You know, like in houses in the old days, there would be a stove. Yes. For example, when a child goes toward the stove, they immediately shout, right? What's happening? The mother says, and the child says, why did you shout, etc.? Okay, you are going towards the stove. You will burn yourself. In the old days, on the roofs, for example, when a child ran toward the edge of the roof, they would shout, right? Do you say, why are you shouting? Look, you are facing a danger. For example, it happens on the roads sometimes. Children jump onto the road, right? For instance, their mother, father behind them immediately shouts. That shout is a sign of what? There is a dangerous situation. Stop, turn back. Here too, now that there is a situation of being deceived by the devil-like deception on his left side, I too was deceived by such a deception. Immediately from his right side, that thing again, a voice like thunder, like the roar of the sky comes. It says, beware, do not be deceived, because if you are deceived, the danger. For example, if a man falls from the roof and dies, 20, 30 years of his life will be gone. But here, if he is deceived by Satan, if he loses his faith, if he loses his worship, a situation of losing an eternal, infinite life in paradise is at stake, right? Is it a small thing to shout, no matter how much you shout? A voice like thunder comes. It says, beware, do not be deceived. And say to that deceiver, if you have a remedy to kill the lion behind me, to remove the gallows before me, to cure the wounds on my right and left, and to prevent the journey ahead of me, if you can find one, come on, do it. Let's see. Kill the lion behind me. First, secure these things. First, eliminate these dangers. Get the situation in order. After that, you can make these offers. But right now, all these offers are empty, absurd, right? Kill the lion behind me. Remove the gallows before me, to cure the wounds on my right and left, and to prevent the journey ahead of me. If you have a remedy, if you can find one, come on, do it. Let's see. Then say, let's have fun. Excuse me? If you can save me from the hand of death, if you can treat my wounds of helplessness and poverty, if you can prevent my loved ones from entering the grave on the gallows, and if you can prevent me from this journey, if we can stay in this world, then what you say has meaning. But after not doing these things, these offers have no meaning at all, right? How appropriate to reality, how logical, how accurate an answer it is. Kill the lion behind me, remove the gallows before me, to cure the wounds on my right and left, and to prevent the journey ahead of me. If you have a remedy, if you can find one, come on, do it. Let's see. Otherwise, be silent, hey fool, so that this heavenly person like Kidder can say what he says. Yes. Let this heavenly person like Kidder say what he says. O my soul, who laughed in your youth and now weeps for what you laughed at, know that that poor soldier is you, and it is man. Really, are we in a more dreadful situation than a person in that battlefield of trial, in the fluctuation of profit and loss, or not? That is it something that is appropriate to the reality we are in now, that expresses the full reality, that sends the reality just so? Or do I not see any lion behind me? It has nothing to do with me. Does this allegory have a lion regarding you? Outwardly, no, but outwardly in appearance, no, but as death. Death will come one day, it will catch us. We know this. After that, that is, Senabahak has decreed a certain life, when the life is over, right? We will meet with his hand, Hazrat Azrael, peace be upon him. That is more dreadful than a lion. Well, is there a gallows in front of us? There is. Are our right and left wounded with 2 deep wounds? Do we really have such wounds? We do. So it means he has described the reality a person is in perfectly. That poor soldier is you, and it is man, and that lion is the appointed time of death, Isel. That lion is Isel. For example, is there a person who has not died in the world, who is 200, 300, 500 years old? Hazrat Azrael, peace be upon him, has forgotten him somewhere and given him a pass. Is there? 60, 70, 80, 90, and he's gone. Yes, that is, everyone has it behind them. We have it behind us. Before this lion of death catches us, what should we do with the time until it catches us? We need to evaluate it very well. That lion is Isel, and that gallows is death, cessation, and separation, in which every friend says farewell and disappears in the turning of night and day. For example, how many people in the world will bid farewell to the world by tomorrow morning, right? From morning to evening, how many people in the turning of night and day, every friend says farewell and disappears? Among these, perhaps in the future, our closest ones will be 1 or 2 of them. That too is death, cessation, and separation, in which death, separation, non-existence, in the turning of night and day, every friend says farewell and disappears. Right now you are in this world with all your friends, your loved ones, but they will go one by one, right? Then we will go too. Then those after us will go too. Everyone will leave this world. And those 2 wounds are, one, a vexing and limitless human helplessness, the other, a painful and endless human poverty. Those 2 wounds are, one, a vexing and limitless human helplessness, the helplessness of man. The other is a painful and endless human poverty. Man is endlessly poor. He is limitlessly helpless. Those 2 wounds are, one, a vexing and limitless human helplessness, the other, a painful and endless human poverty. And that exile and journey is a long journey of trial that passes from the world of spirits, from the mother's womb, from childhood, from old age, from the world to the grave, the isthmus, barzakh, the resurrection, hashir, and the bridge, sirat. Yes. This term journey is also very significant, right? You are a traveler. Where does the journey begin? From the world of spirits. Senabahak created our spirits, clothed us. From the world of spirits, from the realm of spirits. Then what do we do? When we come to the world, where is our first stop? The mother's womb. After that, Senabahak creates a beautiful human body for us, right? He places our spirit inside it. He sends it to this world, from the mother's womb, then from childhood, from being a child, then there is youth, from old age, then from the grave, from the world, from the grave, from the isthmus, we go from the world. There is the world of the grave, the world of the isthmus, then the field of resurrection, right? In the world of the isthmus, we will then wait for the apocalypse. After the apocalypse breaks, the world of the hereafter, the field of resurrection, will be created. From resurrection, from the bridge, Sirat, passes a long journey of trial. We are always being tested on these journeys. It is a journey of trial. Can you say, I'll stay here, I love the world very much, I won't go? You can't say it. Can you say, things are good when I'm a child, I'll stay a child? You can't say it. For example, after a certain thing, Senaba Haq, after testing there, makes you pass to the other. From the world of spirits, from the mother's womb, from childhood, from old age, from the world, of course, a different divine name manifests in everything. For example, in youth, manifestations of beauty, Simal. In old age, manifestations of majesty, Silal, right? From the grave, the isthmus, the resurrection, and the bridge passes a long journey of trial. And that talisman is belief in Sanaba Haq and belief in the hereafter. Yes, the talisman. Those two talismans are belief in Sanaba Haq and belief in the hereafter. That is, what is the reality of this world? This can only be understood with belief in Allah. What will happen after this world? What will happen after this? That too is opened with belief in the hereafter, right? That is, belief in Allah and belief in the hereafter become the key to both this universe and the future. Those two talismans are belief in Sanaba Haq and belief in the hereafter. Yes. With this sacred talisman, death takes on the form of a subservient horse and a burak that takes the believing human from the prison of the world to the gardens of paradise, to the presence of the All-Merciful. For example, if there is faith, if there is belief in the hereafter, what is death for that person? Now that believing human from the prison of the world to the gardens of paradise. Gardens of paradise, are they the gardens of heaven? The prison of the world. He says the world with all its splendor is like a prison next to the hereafter, right? That is, no matter how beautiful the world is, if you put it next to paradise, it carries the meaning of a prison next to paradise. A prison that is, it is said to be perhaps 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times more beautiful, right? It takes on the form of a subservient horse and a burak that takes the believing human from the prison of the world to the gardens of paradise, to the presence of the All-Merciful. Now, without belief in Allah, without belief in the hereafter, how did he look at death? He looked at it as, it will come and tear me apart. I will be thrown into that soil. I will perish and be gone. That is, he looked at death that way. But when he looks at death with faith, when my death comes, they will take me from this world. They will take me to the gardens of paradise, to the presence of Allah, the All-Merciful. Look what happened. While it was a lion, it became a horse that takes you to those beautiful realms. What a beautiful allegory, simile, right? With this sacred talisman, death takes on the form of a subservient horse and a burak that takes the believing human from the prison of the world to the gardens of paradise, to the presence of the All-Merciful. That is why perfected humans who have seen the reality of death have loved death. Of course, a person who truly sees and believes in death in this way, what does he do? He loves death. That is why he said that perfected humans who have seen the reality of death, who have reached perfection in the point of faith, perfected humans have loved death. They have wanted to die before death came. And cessation and separation, decease and death, and the gallows, which is the passage of time, cessation, non-existence, firaq, separation, maymat, deaths, vefats, deaths, and the gallows, which is the passage of time, mururu zaman, the passage of time. Look, night, day, day, night. It does this. Time is constantly moving forward. Right now, for example, we came out of winter and are entering spring, right? Spring, summer. That is, time is moving forward, okay? As this time moves forward, of course, deaths occur in the meantime. Newly created creatures are again taken to non-existence. But if you look at that passage of time with faith, with that talisman of faith, it takes on the form of a means to watch and behold with perfect pleasure the ever-fresh, multicolored, various miracles of the artistry, the wonders of the power, the manifestations of the mercy of the all-glorious Maker, Sani Izul Chalal. Janab Haq creates winter, you behold it. He creates summer, you behold it. He creates the day. The things he creates there, the miraculous artistry, the wonders of power, the manifestations of mercy, you watch, you behold with perfect pleasure. If time does not pass, the painting would be the same painting. You would always see the same thing. But as time moves forward, what does Janab Haq always do? He renews those paintings, those scenes, those blessings. With that talisman of faith, it takes on the form of a means to watch and behold with perfect pleasure the ever-fresh, multicolored, various miracles of the artistry, the wonders of the power, the manifestations of the mercy of the all-glorious Maker. Yes, the alteration and renewal of the mirrors that show the colors in the light of the sun, the alteration and renewal of the mirrors that show the colors in the light of the sun. There are mirrors. As the mirrors change, the colors in the light of the sun on them also change. Yes, the alteration and renewal of the mirrors that show the colors in the light of the sun and the changing of the cinema screens form more pleasant, more beautiful scenes. And those two medicines are: 1, patience with trust. It is to rely on the power of one's Creator, to have confidence in His wisdom. 2 of man's greatest wounds, the wound of helplessness. The wound of helplessness. Man has helplessness. What is its medicine? It is patience with trust. Yes, this calamity does not come to me without Allah's permission, without His observation, without His will. It means Allah's will is there. There is a side of wisdom, a side of mercy in it. That is why to be patient with it, to wait for the wisdom in it to be revealed, is patience with trust. It is to rely on the power of one's Creator, to have confidence in His wisdom, right? Man oppresses, fate deals justly, deals mercifully. It is to rely on the power of one's Creator, to have confidence in His wisdom. Is that so? Yes. What fear can a man have who relies with the memorandum of helplessness on a sultan of the world who possesses the command of be, and it is kun fayakun? What does it mean that he possesses the command of kun fayakun? Kun fayakun, when he says be, Zreniya Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, when Allah wills a thing to be, He only says to it be, and it is. That is, you have such a powerful sultan. He can create whatever he wants. What fear can a man have who relies on, who leans on a being with such power? He possesses the command of kun fayakun. What fear can a man have who relies with the memorandum of helplessness on a sultan of the world, who is also the sultan of the entire universe? That is, you have such a Lord, such a Creator, such a sultan, and he is powerful over all things. You have leaned on a being whose power is sufficient for everything. He can do anything you ask of him. There is nothing you can say, can he do this? If you have relied on such a being, what fear, what fright can you have? For in the face of the most terrible calamity, he says, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun. To Allah we belong, and to Him we shall return. And trust in His all-merciful Lord with peace of heart. In the face of a terrible calamity, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun. That is, we have believed, right? Janab Haq has sent us to this world. Then after this world, we will return to Him again. And to Him is the final return, right? We will return to Him again. And he says, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun. And trust in His all-merciful Lord with peace of heart. Yes. The one who knows Allah, Arifi Billah, takes pleasure in helplessness, in the fear of Allah. Mehafatullah. What does this mean? Arifi Billah, that is the person who knows Allah, who is a Gnostic, takes pleasure in helplessness, in his own helplessness. In Mehafatullah, that is in fearing Allah, he finds delight. Is there pleasure in fearing Allah? He says elsewhere, right? If there is pleasure in fearing Allah, who knows how much pleasure there is in loving Allah? The one who knows Allah takes pleasure in helplessness. In the fear of Allah, he finds delight. Yes, indeed, there is a pleasure in fear. Look, if you fear people, that fear is torment. But if you fear Allah, in that fear there is pleasure. Pleasure. Why? If a 1-year-old child had intelligence and was asked, what is your most delightful and sweetest state? Perhaps he would say, it is the state when I, understanding my helplessness and weakness, and fearing my mother's sweet slap, take refuge in my mother's compassionate bosom. You will talk to a 1-year-old child if he has intelligence, that is, if he can comprehend and express what he has experienced with his mother. If he were asked, what is your most delightful and sweetest state? What is your sweetest state in this world, the one you take the most pleasure in? Perhaps he will say, it is the state when I, understanding my helplessness and weakness, and fearing my mother's sweet slap, take refuge in my mother's compassionate bosom. For example, now his mother gives him a sweet slap or scares him. Now does the child have anywhere else to run? Number. Then he thinks and says, my mother has done me so much good. She actually loves me. She is compassionate, he says. If I run to her again, jump into her lap, he says. She will love me again, he says, because she is compassionate. I know, he says. She will accept me again, he says. Therefore, he immediately returns to his mother. Perhaps he will say, it is the state when I, understanding my helplessness and weakness, and fearing my mother's sweet slap, take refuge in my mother's compassionate bosom. Whereas the compassion of all mothers is but a flash of the manifestation of mercy. So if a mother's compassion is like this, right? Now, who gives that feeling of compassion to all mothers? Where does it come from? In fact, it is Allah who is compassionate to those offspring, so that mothers can look after them and so on. Who places compassion in their hearts? Allah places it. That is, just as He places the milk that is a material need, the child is also in need of the spiritual need, the feeling of compassion, love, compassion. Now Allah gives the compassion of all mothers. He also gives that of all animal mothers. Think of it like this. For example, think of all the mirrors in the world. Just as one flash of the sun illuminates all the mirrors. That is, with one manifestation of Allah's mercy, the hearts of all mothers are filled with compassion. If a part of one manifestation in one mother is so compassionate, what will you do from there with Allah's compassion, His mercy? You will compare and judge that His compassion is infinite. You already do, right? Whereas the compassion of all mothers is but a flash of the manifestation of mercy. That is why perfected humans have found such a pleasure in helplessness and the fear of Allah that they have vehemently disowned their own power and strength and have taken refuge in Allah with helplessness. They have made their helplessness and fear their intercessors. The other medicine is gratitude and contentment with supplication and prayer and trust in the mercy of the all-providing, all-merciful Rezaq Rahim. There were two wounds. One was the wound of helplessness, the other was the wound of poverty. What is the medicine for the wound of poverty? It is gratitude and contentment with supplication and prayer and trust in the mercy of the all-providing, all-merciful. Man, of course, because he is helpless, needs strength, power, reliance. Since he is poor, he has needs. To request them, to pray when it is given, to be grateful, to be content, and then to trust in the mercy of the all-providing, all-merciful becomes the medicine for that wound of poverty. The other medicine is gratitude and contentment with supplication and prayer and trust in the mercy of the all-providing, all-merciful. Is that so? Yes. How can poverty and need be painful and burdensome for a guest of a most munificent and generous one, who has made the whole face of the earth a table of blessings? When you say Allah's mercy, it is not something unknown and mysterious. Look at the whole face of the earth. Senab Haq has made the whole face of the earth a table of blessings. He has adorned the whole face of the earth with blessings like a table. Who has made the whole face of the earth a table of blessings, and has made the season of spring a bouquet of flowers, just as we put flowers on our tables like this. Senab Haq also puts the flower of spring on the table of the earth. Who has made the season of spring a bouquet of flowers and placed it beside that table and scattered it over it? For a guest of a most munificent and generous one, how can poverty and need be painful and heavy? So will my Lord be compassionate to me? Will He be merciful? Will He provide for my needs? He has made the spring season a bouquet of flowers for you like this. He has made the face of the earth a table of blessings like this. He has shown that He is most munificent and generous. You are the guest of such a being. Then how can poverty and need be painful? Rather, poverty and need take on the form of a pleasant appetite. Poverty and need take on the form of a pleasant appetite. Like an appetite, he works for the increase, the augmentation of his poverty. That is why perfected humans have taken pride in and boasted of their poverty. Be careful not to misunderstand. It means to feel one's poverty towards Allah and to implore Him. It does not mean to show one's poverty to the public and take on the position of a beggar. And that ticket, that document is foremost the performance of the obligatory duties and the abandonment of the major sins, starting with the prayer, namaz. You know the importance of a ticket on a journey, right? If you don't have a ticket, you can't get on the bus, you can't get on the plane, you hit the road on foot. It is unknown whether a lion or a tiger will find you on the road, whether you will go hungry or become miserable. That is why the ticket is very important for the traveler. On this long journey ahead of us that goes to eternity, what is our ticket? What is the thing that will make that journey go smoothly, beautifully? It is the prayer. For example, does a traveler lose his ticket? He guards it well so that they don't steal it. That is why a person needs to what with his prayer? He should never lose it. That ticket, that document is foremost the performance of the obligatory duties, is, starting with the prayer. It is not just prayer, of course. Foremost, the performance of the obligatory duties. The performance of the obligatory duties, the abandonment of the major sins, terkul kabair, that is prayer, fasting. Then there are many others, 32 obligatory duties, 54, 72. One must learn them all. The performance of the obligatory duties, the abandonment of the major sins. Is that so? Yes. By the consensus of all the people of expertise and observation, and all the people of spiritual taste and discovery. Look, there is so much consensus on this matter. By the consensus of the people of expertise and observation, all the people of spiritual taste and discovery, on that long and dark road to eternity, provisions for the journey, light and a burak, can only be obtained by complying with the commands of the Qur'an and avoiding its prohibitions. That is, why should we be vigilant towards the commands of the Qur'an? Because that is, we cannot give up the Qur'an. We cannot give up the commands of the Qur'an. In our lives, we cannot leave them. Because what will save us on the journey ahead is that is complying with the commands of the Qur'an, complying with its commands, and avoiding its prohibitions, never his sin then, that is abstaining from what it forbids, can be obtained. If one does this, his heart will be at ease, right? Otherwise, science and philosophy, art and wisdom are not worth a penny on that road. That is, when we enter the grave, they will not ask us physics problems, nor chemistry, nor biology. What will they ask? What is the reality of this universe? What is its meaning? Right? Were you able to find your Lord? Were you able to know him? After that, science and philosophy, art and wisdom are not worth a penny on that road. Their lights only reach as far as the door of the grave. So, O my lazy soul, how little, comfortable, and light it is to perform the 5 daily prayers and to abandon the 7 major sins. To perform the 5 daily prayers, to abandon the 7 major sins. These 7 major sins are also written in the dictionary, right? We can look them up and learn. Also, to constantly commit minor sins without giving them importance carries the meaning of a major sin, right? Therefore, that is, it is necessary to say, this is big, this is small. We will flee as much as we can. How little, comfortable, and light it is to perform the 5 daily prayers and to abandon the 7 major sins. You will understand how very important and great its result, fruit, and benefit are if you have a mind and it is not corrupted. That is, if you perform the 5 daily prayers, abandon the major sins, fulfill the obligatory duties, if you live a life like this and you appear before Allah with this, what is the benefit it will bring you? Its result, fruit, and benefit are how very important and great. It has a reward like paradise, right? Its result, fruit, and benefit are how very important and great. it also makes one live a life of paradise in this world. It also becomes a means to the material paradise in the hereafter. That is, when a person stays within the circle of faith, the circle of worship, Senab Haq grants him a life of paradise in this world. That is, a happy, blissful life, a spirit, the spiritual paradise in this world. In fact, Hazrat Ali had such a saying, right? He says, I am not very surprised that the believers live in paradise in the hereafter, because Allah has promised He will give. That is, this is understood. The main thing that I wonder at, or rather what I appreciate beautifully, is that faith and worship grant a person the pleasure of paradise, the joy of a spiritual paradise even in this world, right? Inshallah, we too, if we illuminate our spirits, our hearts, with the spiritual truths in the RİSALE-İ and then adorn them, our hearts, our spirits will not suffer in this troubled life with those lights of verified faith. They will gain that joy. You will understand how very important and great its result, fruit, and benefit are if you have a mind and it is not corrupted. And you will say to Satan and that man who encourages you to vice and dissipation, if there is a way to kill death, to remove cessation from the world, to lift helplessness and poverty from mankind, and to close the door of the grave, tell us, let's hear it. Otherwise be silent. So clear. So come on, leave everything and dive into the world, whatever. Okay, if you do what you say, in the midst of that filth, in the world death came, it caught you. What will happen? Who will save me on the other side? Right? Can you answer this? That is, in the circle of faith, the circle of worship, if death comes and catches you, you will go to paradise. But if one leaves these and follows Satan, and death comes and catches one in that state, eternal life will be ruined. Right? What will a person who knows this say to Satan then? He must say exactly this. If there is a way to kill death, to remove cessation from the world, to lift helplessness and poverty from mankind, and to close the door of the grave, tell us, let's hear it, otherwise be silent. In the great mosque of the universe, the Qur'an is reading the universe. Look, you are talking nonsense, he says. I will not listen to you any more, he says. What will I listen to, he says. In the great mosque of the universe, the Qur'an is reading the universe. It expresses the meanings that all this universe expresses. The existence of Allah, His oneness, His mercy, His compassion for us, His expectations from us, His desires from us. The whole universe expresses the truth. Let's listen to it. Let's be illuminated with its light. Let's act with its guidance. And let's make it our litany. That is, does the universe lie? It does not. Then let's understand what the universe says. Let's act with its guidance and make it our litany. Yes. What was Verdi Zeban? Verdi Zeban, that is, just as you constantly breathe the air, you constantly drink water. That is, let's constantly nourish our spirits by constantly repeating the meanings of these truths. That is, repeating the meanings in the RİSALE-İ, the truths of faith. What does that do? It is to constantly give the spiritual food of the heart, of the spirit. Let's make it our litany. Yes. The word is that and is said to it. It is that which is truth, comes from the truth, speaks the truth, shows the reality, and spreads luminous wisdom. Are there 5 points here? It must be truth. First of all, it must be truth. That is, it must have expressed the facts. It must be in accordance with the reality of the universe, the facts. It is that which is truth, comes from the truth, speaks the truth, shows the reality, and spreads luminous wisdom. That is, it will spread to us beneficial, useful for our world, for our hereafter, advantageous results. It is that which spreads luminous wisdom. And this is the Qur'an, right? What is the aspect of this Qur'an that looks to us in this age? The exegesis. The exegesis of this century is the RİSALE-İ Nur. The RİSALE-İ Nur has expressed the truth and reality in all subjects from A to Z. It is now up to us to read as much as we can, to learn those truths, and then to organize our lives accordingly. It is that which is truth, comes from the truth, speaks the truth, shows the reality, and spreads luminous wisdom. Allahumma nawwir qulubana bi nur al-imani wal-Qur'an. O Allah, nawwir, illuminate qulubana, our hearts, bi nur al-iman wal-Qur'an, with the light of faith, with the light of the Qur'an. Illuminate our hearts. Of course, what is the active prayer for this? Reading the Risal, those truths of faith, is its active prayer, right? We will not just pray and wait. Whatever the requirement is, one must read. Allahumma nawwir qulubana bi nur al-imani wal-Qur'an. Allahumma agnina bil-iftikari ilayk. O Allah, enrich us with our poverty towards you, enrich us by making us feel our poverty towards you. Guna Allah bil-kaf. That is, a person feels himself poor. When he applies to Janab Haq makes him what? Rich. That is, he increases his light. Allahumma la tafkirna bil istignai anke. Do not impoverish us by our being self-sufficient from you, by forgetting our need for you. That is, do not impoverish us from our self-sufficiency from you. وَتَبَرُكَّ مِنْ حَوْلِنَا وَقُوَّتِنَا وَارْحَمْنَا الْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ وَصَلِّ وَسَلِّمْ عَلَى سَيِّدِنَا مُحَمَّدٍ عَبْدِكَ وَنَبِيِّكَ وَصَافِيِّكَ وَخَالِلِكَ وَجَمَالِ الْمُلْكِ وَمَلِيكِ السُّنِكَ وَعَيْنِ إِنَايَتِكَ وَشَمْسِ هِدَايَتِكَ. Shams Hidayat, the sun of guidance. وَلِسَانِ هِدَايَتِكَ وَمِثَالِ رَحْمَتِكَ, the exemplar of mercy. He is listing the attributes of the Prophet. وَنُورُ حَلْكِكَ وَشَرَفِ مَوْجُدَاتِكَ وَسِيرَاجُ وَحْدَتِكَ فِي كَسْرَةِ مَحْلُكَاتِكَ وَكَاشِفِ تِلْسِمِ كَائِنَاتِكَ. Yes, كَاشِفِ تِلْسِمِ كَائِنَاتِكَ. What does it mean? Kashifi, the discoverer. Tılsım-ı kainat, the talismans, meanings, secrets in the universe. Who is the one who discovers them? It is Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, right? Kâşifi tılsım-ı kainatike ve dellali saltanat-ı rububiyetike, the announcer of Janab-ı Hak's sovereignty, who recites and proclaims all his names. His beautiful names is also him. It is, peace and blessings be upon him. Ve dellali saltanat-ı rububiyetike ve mübelli-i marziyatike. Mübelli, the one who conveys. Marziyatike, who conveys to us your will, your desires and wishes from us. Ve mübelli-i marziyatike ve muarrifi künuzi esmaike. Künuzu esmaike. Who explains to us your hidden treasures, the treasures of the divine names, right? Who explains Allah to us in the best way. It is the Qur'an. It is the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. Muarif-i künuzi esmaike ve muallim-i ibadike, the teacher of the servants. Ve tercüman-ı ayatike ve mirat-ı cemali rububiyetik, the mirror of the beauty of lordship. Our Prophet is a mirror, right? How was that? Mirat hak her şey hak ile kaim. Mirat-ı Muhammed'den Allah görünür daim. The mirror is truth. Everything subsists with the truth. From the mirror of Muhammad, Allah is always seen. Mirat-ı cemali rububiyetike ve medar-ı şuhudike ve işhadike ve habibike ve rasulükellezi erseltehu rahmeten lil alemin, and upon his family and all his companions. Amen. I had also written the translation of this Should we read that too? So we will have read the meaning of our prayer. Let's read that and finish. O Allah, illuminate our hearts with the light of faith and the Qur'an. O Allah, make us rich by making us always feel our need for you.
Do not make us poor by making us not feel the need for your mercy. We have renounced our own power and strength and taken refuge in your power and strength. So make us among those who trust in you. Do not abandon us to our own selves. Protect us with your preservation. Have mercy on us, all believing men and women. And send peace and blessings upon our Master Muhammad, your servant, your prophet, your chosen friend from your sublime presence, the beauty of your dominion, the sultan of your art, the spring of your care, the sun of your guidance, the tongue of your proof, the exemplar of your mercy, the light of your creation, the honor of your beings, the lamp of your oneness amidst your numerous creatures, the discoverer of the talisman of your universe, the announcer of the sovereignty of your lordship, the conveyor of the things with which you are pleased, the introducer of the treasures of your names, the teacher of your servants, the interpreter of the signs of your universe, the mirror of the beauty of your lordship, the axis of your witnessing and being witnessed, and your beloved and your messenger, whom you sent as a mercy to the worlds, and upon all his family and companions, his brothers among the prophets and messengers, the archangels, and the righteous servants. Amen.